Unlock the miraculous wealth, 3 divine secrets to manifestation revealed for heavenly abundance. In a quaint rural village, nestled between rolling green hills and ancient oak trees, a sacred promise echoed through the hearts of the faithful. There, the loved ones of Sarah, a devoted church member, knew her troubles were vast. As the shadows of doubt crept in with the loss of her job, she stumbled upon a spiritual treasure that would change her life forever, the divine secrets of manifestation and abundance. Could it be true? Was there real power in prayer and gratitude? The moment Sarah first knelt, she felt an electric connection, a palpable force reaching out through the silence at St. Joseph's Parish. It was as if the very air shimmered with possibility, the whispers of neighbors praying fervently, calling upon St. Joseph, their voices weaving into an intricate tapestry of belief. In her heart, Sarah clung to an ancient scripture, "Ask, and it will be given to you." She longed for such miracles, but doubt held her like chains. As days turned into crippling worry, an unexpected divine moment emerged. The first secret wafted in like the scent of blooming lilac. Sarah began to thank God for every little blessing, the warm sun on her face, the laughter of her children, and the unwavering love of her neighbors. As she did, a flicker of faith ignited, brightening her heart. The shift was tangible, hope stirred amidst her desperation. But a cruel twist awaited. The local fundraiser she had hoped would alleviate her burdens floundered. Underwhelming donations dashed all hope, pulling Sarah back into a pit of fear and disbelief. As despair seeped in, a deceptive scheme whispered sweet promises. The allure of quick riches took hold of her heart like a thief in the night. Just a little investment, it spun, and your problems will vanish. Hungry for relief, Sarah fell prey, sinking deeper into financial chaos that tugged at her family's bonds. At the community prayer meeting, tension hung like heavy mist. Sarah's heart raced. With trembling lips, she surrendered her struggles, laying bare her struggles before God and all those gathered. A hush settled, the congregation wrapped her in warmth. Hands reached out, prayers poured forth. Love flowed, softening her soul, washing away fear. In that sacred space, vulnerability crumbled the walls she had built. This was true wealth, not in coin, but in faith and kinship. As Sarah looked into the eyes of her friends, a new illumination sparked within her. The miracles she had sought began to blossom. Swift job opportunities appeared like shy wildflowers breaking through the soil. Support emerged from unexpected places, reminding her that God's grace was more than enough. Yet, amid this glowing renewal, a question loomed heavy in the air. Could she truly embrace the divine path laid before her? Would fear dare cast shadows over the blessings unfolding? The community watched, breath bated, hearts united in faith. The next chapter awaited a revelation that would change everything. As dawn broke over the village, a golden light spilled across the fields, kissing each blade of grass with warmth. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the world itself was holding its breath for Sarah's next steps. She felt this electric energy in her bones. Could it be a sign? Stepping out of her home, Sarah whispered a prayer, "Lord, guide me today." She ventured to the community center, her heart alight with fragile hope. Each face she encountered radiated love, encouraging smiles wrapped around her like a soft embrace. Conversations flowed easily, and Sarah found herself swept into discussions about faith and support. In moments like this, she understood the power of togetherness, of collective devotion. Yet, as she listened to tales of tribulation and triumph, doubts crept back in, insidious little whispers gnawing at her spirit. What if I fail again? What if this support is fleeting? Would her fragile resolve withstand the weight of reality? Gathering her courage, Sarah spoke up during a circle of prayer. "I've received small blessings, but I fear the darkness of doubt is creeping in once more." A sobering silence filled the room, and her vulnerability hung like an offering in the air. Then, an elder named Ruth, with eyes that held decades of wisdom, gently placed her hand on Sarah's shoulder. "My dear, faith isn't about not feeling fear. It's about trusting God despite your fears. Remember, sometimes we must step back to see how far we've come." Her words wrapped around Sarah's heart like a balm. With this encouragement, the flicker of faith within her burned brighter. She had to act. She couldn't allow doubt to cloud the blessings that had begun to pour into her life. As the days followed, Sarah chose gratitude as her sword against uncertainty. She started a journal, documenting her journey of faith. Each page became a tapestry of moments: an unexpected meal from a neighbor, a warm hug from a friend, a kind note left on her doorstep. With every entry, doubt's grip loosened, and memories of God's faithfulness flooded her soul. But just as she began to dance in hope, the world conspired with its challenges. The shadows of life crept back. A car engine faltered, her children needed new shoes, and bills seemed to multiply like wild vines. Each challenge pressed down, threatening to overshadow her blossoming faith. At a pivotal gathering of the prayer group, the tension was almost palpable. Sarah stood before her friends, their supportive faces inviting her courage. "I want to believe, I want to hold on to hope." Tears brimmed in her eyes as she felt their energy wrap around her, each word a brick in the wall of faith they were building together. Together, they prayed fervently, their voices rising like sweet incense to the heavens. Sarah's heart started to beat like a drum, strong and steady. In this moment, a revelation washed over her. God didn't promise a life free of troubles. Instead, he promised to walk with her through them, carrying the weight of her burdens. That spark of understanding, something shifted within Sarah. The question lingering in the depths of her heart had become clearer: what if the greatest wealth is not what I receive, but what I give? With this new vision, her perspective transformed. Now, she felt ready for the next step, but what could it be? Would she continue leaning into her community, trusting God as they navigated these waters together? The journey ahead shimmered with possibility, yet shadows danced at the edges. What divine adventures awaited Sarah and her faithful friends? Would they uncover new depths of wealth that extended far beyond their understanding? The heavens seemed to turn, eager to reveal what lay ahead. The morning sun climbed higher, casting a brilliant glow over the village. Sarah awoke with an ember of determination swirling in her chest. Today was a day for action, a day to step out and give. As she prepared breakfast, her heart raced with anticipation. How might she use her newfound perspective? She remembered the elders at the community center, their wise and open hearts so willing to share love. With a smile, an idea blossomed. She would organize a small gathering in her home, inviting those from the center who might be in need of companionship or support. "Lord, guide me in this," she whispered while stirring the oats, feeling the familiar warmth of prayer wrap around her. As invitations were sent out, excitement mixed with nervousness swirled within her. Would they come? Would they feel the love she intended to share? Maybe the fear of rejection still lingered like a whisper in the back of her mind, but Sarah pushed it aside, embracing her new resolve. Later that afternoon, a gentle knock interrupted her shaking hands as she set the table. Sarah opened the door to see Ruth standing there, a smile lighting her face. Behind her came a few others, each bearing gifts: fresh produce, a loaf of bread, flowers, tokens of kindness that made Sarah's heart swell. With every arrival, the atmosphere shifted. Laughter filled the room, weaving together shared stories of struggle and hope, creating an invisible thread binding them closely. Sarah led the group in a brief prayer, her voice steady and filled with gratitude. In that sacred moment, she felt her worries lift like wisps of smoke dissolving in the air. But amidst the laughter, something deeper began to resonate. As they shared meals, the conversation turned towards the burdens they carried. It was then that Sarah felt called to speak. Sometimes, when life gets heavy, we forget the weight it can lift when we share it with one another. Voices of agreement surged through the gathering. "We are a testament to God's love, even in our struggles," Ruth said, nodding affirmatively. Sarah witnessed the magic of vulnerability. A story shared was another burden shed, each tale pouring out like rain washing away dust. As the evening fell, the dim lights twinkled softly overhead, casting a warm glow on their faces. An unspoken understanding danced in the air, faith flourished in community, just as flowers bloomed in nurturing soil. The laughter turned into songs, prayers harmonizing with newfound hope. Then an unexpected silence fell upon them. Sarah glanced around, tears glistening in her eyes. What if we continued this? What if our small gathering becomes a beacon for others? Absolutely. A young mother replied, enthusiasm bubbling. We could invite more families, share our stories, lift each other in true community spirit. We could create something beautiful, Sarah. That one spark ignited a collective energy, each heart resonating with possibility. The weight of their individual struggles began transforming into a shared mission to be lights in a world that often felt dark. As they planned for future gatherings, a new prayer unfurled in Sarah's heart. She understood now, giving could also mean receiving in ways she never expected. But just as hope began to swell, shadows stirred on the horizon. How would they face the challenges life might throw as their community grew? Would they have the courage to hold steadfast, leaning into the unknown? As the gentle night came, Sarah's heart raced with anticipation. What miraculous paths awaited them as they stepped boldly into this adventure of faith and fellowship? What uncharted territories of God's bounty were they destined to explore together? The night shimmered with endless possibilities, waiting to unveil its mysteries. The next day dawned with a refreshing breeze that swept through the village, wrapping everything in a gentle embrace. Sarah awoke with a renewed sense of purpose, her heart still echoing the warmth from the previous night's gathering. The memories lingered like a sweet aftertaste. Each laugh shared and story unveiled was a thread woven into the fabric of their newfound community. As she savored her morning tea, an idea sparked in her mind. Why not invite others to share their gifts, too? She mused. It was clear that each person held something unique to contribute, a piece of a puzzle that together formed a vibrant mosaic of hope. Lord, grant me the courage to reach out, she prayed, feeling the weight of responsibility and excitement at the same time. With her heart set, Sarah took to her notebook. The idea of a community fair began to take shape, an event not only to gather but to showcase talents, crafts, and stories. As she jotted down her thoughts, Sarah envisioned laughter and music filling the air, glimmers of joy radiating from every corner. We can call it the celebration of gifts, she wrote, her excitement bubbling over. Her mind raced at the possibilities. Children drawing and painting, adults sharing recipes and crafts, stories of faith woven amid lively conversations. This could become a tapestry of living faith. Each person could shine as a light within the gathering, illuminating the essence of their community. Hours later, as she started reaching out to friends and neighbors, her heart vibrated with hope. Sarah felt a tangible excitement building as she spoke to people, inviting them to join in. Many expressed eagerness, their eyes lighting up at the thought of participating. Each yes felt like a confirmation from heaven, a promise of something beautiful unfolding. Yet, as the day approached, a nagging doubt began to creep in. What if no one wants to show their gifts? What if it all falls flat? She thought. Though a flicker of fear dangled in her mind like a shadow, Sarah fought against it with prayer. Help me trust in your provision, Lord, she whispered, lifting her concerns to God. The day of the event arrived, the village buzzing with anticipation. Sarah meticulously arranged the tables, each adorned with vibrant cloths, and decorations lovingly crafted. The aroma of delicious food wafted through the air, mingling with the sound of laughter and chatter blossoming in the background. As the sun began to set, bathing everything in golden light, a wave of people began to gather. Sarah's heart quickened as she saw familiar faces light up with enthusiasm. The atmosphere was electric, a shimmering tapestry of hope and possibility woven together. Welcome, everyone. Sarah called out, her voice ringing through the air. The energy radiated throughout the crowd, as they turned their attention toward her. Today, she continued, her heart swelling with joy, we are here to celebrate the gifts God has given us. Let us share our talents, lift each other up, and reflect the love we have in our hearts. Cheers erupted from the crowd, a chorus of voices echoing Sarah's sentiments. As stories were exchanged and talents shared, the essence of community poured forth, rich and full. Yet, in the midst of this joyful celebration, Sarah felt something stirring within her, a divine sensation she couldn't quite grasp. Was it the Holy Spirit moving among them? As the night deepened, a few people began to speak about what they envisioned for the future. They prayed for the expansion of their gathering. Just at that moment, a soft rustle caught Sarah's attention. She turned to see an elderly woman standing apart, her face hidden beneath a soft shawl. What weight did her presence carry? Who is she? Sarah wondered, her heart racing with both curiosity and cautious excitement. Was there a story waiting to be revealed, a hidden talent that could change everything? In the heart of community and connection, they were on the brink of something divine. What would this encounter unveil? Sarah's spirit ignited with questions, each pulse of anticipation, emphasizing the mysteries of God that awaited exploration. As the vibrant gathering continued to swirl around her, Sarah felt an inexplicable pull toward the elderly woman. The flickering lanterns cast dancing shadows on the shawl that covered the stranger's face, but there was an aura about her that seemed to shimmer with hidden wisdom. "Excuse me," Sarah said gently as she approached, her heart pounding in her chest. "Can I help you?" The elderly woman lifted her head slightly, revealing eyes that sparkled like stars reflecting the heavenly tapestry above. "I've come to share, dear," she spoke softly, yet her voice resonated with an unexpected strength. "I carry a story that has waited long to be told." Sarah felt a warm surge of energy flow through her, a divine invitation whispered in the quiet moments of her soul. "We would love to hear your story. This is a place of sharing and acceptance." The woman smiled, and for the first time, Sarah saw the gentle lines of her face that spoke of many years walked through this world. "My name is Agnes," she said, the name flowing like honey. "I once thought my gifts had all but faded away with the passing years." "Your gifts?" Sarah prompted, her curiosity igniting like a flame. "What do you mean?" "Many years ago," Agnes began, her eyes growing distant, "I was filled with creativity, writing poetry and crafting with my hands. But life, with its trials, dulled those gifts. I stopped believing they mattered. But dear child," she leaned closer, "God never takes away what He has given. He simply awaits our acknowledgement." A wave of understanding washed over Sarah. It was as if Agnes had flipped a switch. There was a profound truth in the words that resonated deep in her spirit. "You still have gifts," Sarah replied earnestly, "waiting to bless us." Agnes nodded, her face lighting up with renewed purpose. "Tonight, amidst this celebration, I feel the stirring in my soul once more, so I will share a piece of my heart." As Agnes spoke, the crowd began to quiet. The laughter and chatter faded into a reverent silence, the air thick with expectancy. With each word, she painted images of joy, pain, and healing, revealing how God's love had woven through her journey like golden threads. The audience listened with rapt attention, absorbed in her wisdom. "I realized," she declared, "that the abundance of gifts in each of us bears the essence of God's grace. When we share our light, we reflect His glory." Sarah's heart soared. Agnes's revelation was a divine reminder of faith in action. She glanced around at the villagers, each face illuminated with hope and connection, each heart resonating with a simple truth: their gifts mattered. Suddenly, an idea bloomed in Sarah's heart. What if we deepen this? What if we created a space here, right now, for everyone to share their gifts? We can showcase our stories, our crafts, and in doing so, ignite faith once more. The crowd murmured, the energy building around the idea. Excitement flared like a spark in dry grass, feeding the flames of potential. But Agnes raised a hand gently, claiming their focus once more. "Ah, but there is one more secret to unveil," she added mysteriously. The crowd leaned in closer, breathless with anticipation. "The true wealth of our gifts lies not only in their sharing but in the good they can do when paired with a pure heart." "What do you mean, Agnes?" Sarah inquired, her soul stirred. "To love unfailingly," Agnes began, and at those words, the weight of something profound fell upon them all. As Agnes elaborated, Sarah felt emotions swirling, questions lining the path of her thoughts. Would they understand the full depth of these secrets? Could they truly embrace a life of abundance that God intended through their gifts and love? The gathering stood on the edge of revelation, hearts beating in unison. In that charged moment, as Agnes's voice wove visions of divine potential into the night, they sensed that something greater than themselves was at play. What eternal truths awaited them beyond the frailty of human understanding? Would they allow their faith to lead them into this realm of divine abundance? The crowd waited, hearts wide open, ready for the unknown to unfold. As Agnes continued to speak, a divine stillness settled over the gathering. The air felt charged, as if the very fabric of the night was woven with threads of expectation. Each listener hung on her words, absorbed in the sacred energy that flowed around them. To love unfailingly, Agnes repeated, her voice wrapped in warmth like a comforting embrace. This love is the key. It is what unlocks the doors to our shared gifts. Without love, our talents are mere echoes. But when we infuse them with pure heart's then the divine purpose shines. Sarah felt a powerful stirring within her. She could see it in the faces of her friends and neighbors. The recognition sparked like fireflies in their eyes. It was a call to action, a whisper from God, urging them to see their gifts anew. What does it look like to love unfailingly? She wondered aloud, hoping to touch on the question that flitted through the minds of many. Agnes smiled knowingly, as if she had anticipated this very question. It means offering kindness without expecting anything in return. It means patience in the face of hardships. It means being vulnerable enough to share your gifts, regardless of fear. Her voice grew stronger. We are all mirrors of God's love. When we reflect His light, beauty, and abundance flow into our lives and the lives of others. The crowd absorbed her words, a gentle murmur of agreement beginning to ripple through the villagers. Old and young, they were united in a sacred understanding. Each one was a vessel of divine love. Encouraged by this connection, Agnes took a deep breath and continued, imagine if we all poured our hearts into loving others without reservation. What would that do? It would create waves of renewal, healing, and joy. The world would see the goodness of God reflected through us. At this, Sarah's heart began to race. A vision formed in her mind, a vibrant tapestry of colors woven together by acts of love, gifts shared without fear, blessings exchanged like precious jewels. Together, she whispered, we can build something beautiful. A sense of excitement filled the air. One by one, individuals stepped forward, brave faces shining with purpose. A musician began to strum her guitar, harmonizing with the soft beat of a nearby drum. Another villager started to share a heartfelt poem that spoke of the hope in darkness. Each story, each performance, became an offering, infused with love that sprang from within. The congregation stood in awe, a collection of souls pouring forth their spirit into a sacred space, each gift a brushstroke in a divine masterpiece. The night glowed brighter, reflecting the fire ignited in each heart, but then, a hush fell over the crowd again, as Agnes raised her hands once more. Be mindful, dear ones, she cautioned, her gaze sweeping over them. For the deepest secret lies still undisclosed. To truly manifest this abundance, we must first embrace the trials ahead. Sometimes, our gifts will ask us to walk through storms. It is in those moments that our faith is tested. Those words struck a chord. A silence shrouded the assembly as each heart wrestled with what it meant to navigate difficulties while holding on to faith and gifts. Will you trust God in the storms? Agnes asked, her voice steady yet gentle, bringing every soul back to present. Will you let the challenges shape you into a more authentic reflection of His love? As the night deepened, the flickering lanterns illuminated faces lost in contemplation. Each person wrestled with the weight of love, fear, and hope. They stood poised at the brink of something transformative, each heartbeat a prayer, each breath a commitment to love unyieldingly. What awaited them on this journey of faith? Would they gather their courage and embrace the storms as part of their divine calling? Time stood still for a moment, the air thick with holy anticipation, as a divine mystery hung in balance. Where would this journey of love lead them? Would they discover the true essence of their gifts? As Agnes lowered her hands, the tension in the air shifted. A warmth enveloped the gathering, a gentle reminder of the sacred spirit that connected each heart. Sarah felt the mysterious pulse of hope thrumming beneath the surface, urging her to step into the unknown. We must not shy away from the storms, she thought, recalling Agnes' powerful words. With a newfound resolve, she raised her voice. Each gift we hold is a chance to make a difference. Even in our struggles, we're not alone. We have each other and the love of God. Let us be brave. The crowd erupted into soft applause, the sound like falling rain nurturing the seeds of faith in the soil of their souls. Encouraged, Sarah glanced around. She could see courage blooming in the eyes of her neighbors' faces that had once carried doubt, now radiated possibility. The musician strummed her guitar again, this time playing a song that spoke of hope blossoming in the darkest places. As the melody filled the air, Agnes stepped forward, her presence steady and strong, inviting vulnerability and trust. "Let each of us take a moment," she suggested, "to open our hearts to what the Spirit might reveal." One by one, individuals closed their eyes, breathing deeply, allowing the weight of their worries to melt away. A hush fell like a protective cloak around them. In that silence, whispers of divine insight began to echo within the crowd. A young woman named Eliza opened her eyes suddenly, a tear rolling down her cheek, glistening like a precious gem. "I've always feared sharing my art," she confessed, her voice trembling. "But I see now I can inspire others. I must love my gift enough to trust Him with it." Her words struck like a bell tolling through the stillness. Others nodded in understanding, some wiping tears, their hearts resonating with her revelation. "I have felt that call too," an older man chimed in. He held a small wooden carving, simple yet exquisite, representing community and togetherness. "This has been hidden in the shadows. Let us not be afraid to let our gifts shine like stars across the night sky, guiding us home." The excitement surged through the gathering, eyes sparkling with fresh determination. Energy buzzed, and soon voices mixed in jubilant harmony, each soul contributing to the greater chorus of hope. As laughter mingled with earnest prayers, Agnes interjected, "Remember, the challenges ahead are not walls but bridges. They're what lead us to greater love, deeper connections, and the very essence of our gifts. It is when we lean into those difficulties together that we flourish." Every heart resonated with this declaration. They felt a divine current binding them, encouragement flowing like a river through their veins. But just as the energy reached its peak, a shadow swept across the gathering. A sudden chill, almost imperceptible, brushed against the warmth of their hope. Agnes noticed, her expression shifting. "Beware, dear ones. The enemy seeks to sow seeds of doubt even among the faithful. The storms may intensify." Gasps followed her warning, but then a gentle peace descended again. The crowd leaned closer, unified in spirit. They understood that trials were trials only when faced alone. Together, sharing love, strength, and God's light, they were an unyielding force. As they prepared to embrace the night, the lanterns flickered like stars above, casting soft glows on their determined faces. Yet, Sarah felt a stirring within her. What would expected or unexpected trials unfold before them? In that moment, a moment brimming with earnest anticipation, the unfolding of their collective journey began anew. What would they discover? Would love truly conquer all, even the most daunting of storms? Would the trials reveal deeper truths about their gifts and their calling? The night awaited, filled with promise and sacred mystery. The night sky deepened, becoming a canvas for twinkling stars, each one a reminder of hope. Agnes, standing at the center of the gathering, sensed the anticipation. The atmosphere vibrated with unspoken questions. Sarah was not the only one wrestling with thoughts of the trials ahead. Each heart held stories of pain, dreams buried under fear, and a longing for purpose. "Let us lean in," Agnes encouraged, her voice tender yet firm. "This is a sacred moment. Let us invite the Spirit to help us see the path we are to walk." The crowd shifted, captivated. With heads bowed and eyes closed again, a soft rustling of breath filled the air. It felt as if the collective heart beat in sync, a powerful, divine heartbeat, urging them onward. Suddenly, a soft voice broke the silence, rising like a tender flame. It was Eliza once more, her vulnerability shining through. "What if the storms call forth the courage we don't know we possess?" she asked, her eyes wide with clarity. "What if they aren't meant to break us, but to mold us into who we are meant to be?" The gathering exhaled softly, a mix of surprise and recognition washing over them. Each person felt that profound truth: trials might indeed be the very chrysalis of transformation. "God doesn't promise that life will always be easy," Agnes interjected, her tone gentle but full of resolve. "But He does promise that with every challenge, He walks alongside us, guiding us through." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, as each heart was ignited with renewed spirit. Sarah's mind raced with reflections, memories of moments when doubts had taken root, but also of times when love and faith had carried her through the darkness. "Together, we can share our burdens," the older man who carved the wooden figure spoke again, his voice steady. "When we lean on each other, we embody the love God calls us to. In communities, miracles unfold." The words hung in the air, rich with promise. The crowd seemed to pulse with energy, emotions tangling fear, hope, resolve. They were not only sharing their burdens but also lifting each other's spirits. As the lanterns flickered in rhythm with the awakening emotions, Sarah felt a surge of warmth fill her chest. What if the miracles we yearn for are hidden inside our struggles? She thought, contemplating the possibilities. What if our gifts, when shared and nurtured, ignite something much larger than ourselves? Let us declare our hopes. Agnes called out, beckoning a new wave of energy. With renewed fervor, one by one, they began to share their dreams and ideas. Silent aspirations became shouts of longing, interwoven with prayers and support. And then it happened. In the midst of the fervent sharing, the wind picked up, swirling amongst them, as if carrying their voices to the heavens. An unseen force seemed to envelop the gathering, a whisper of divine presence. Agnes sensed it first. "Do you feel that?" Her eyes sparkled like the stars above them. Excitement electrified the air, a tangible sense of expectation. As the gathering collectively murmured in surprise, Sarah looked around, feeling the weight of anticipation. Something was about to shift, something profound. But what exactly? What revelations awaited them on this journey of faith? The energy in the air thickened, and the night swelled with unknown possibilities. Could they be on the brink of discovering the miraculous wealth that resided within their hearts? With their spirits united, they ventured deeper into the unknown, each soul eager to unlock the secrets of divine manifestation. Would their courage be enough to face the storms ahead? As they stood on the edge of the mysterious, the palpable tension thickened like morning fog. Each thought hung heavy with wonder, and an unspoken question loomed above them. What divine treasures would they uncover together? The whispers began to weave through the crowd like a gentle breeze, carrying with them a touch of divine possibility. Agnes looked around, her heart swelling with anticipation. Each face spoke of hope, each eye shone with a desire to connect, to understand the purpose of their journey. As the wind danced lightly, she felt the presence of the Spirit among them, urging them to lean into the moment, to embrace whatever was to unfold. "Let us take a deep breath," she instructed softly. "Inhale the promise God has for us, and exhale the worries that bind us." The crowd followed her lead, inhaling deeply, and in that shared breath, a sense of unity blossomed. The night cradled them in a warm embrace. Just then, Sarah felt a shift within her, like a key turning in a lock. She sensed something precious awakening. What if this gathering was more than a meeting of hearts? What if it was the very catalyst for a transformative experience, one where they could discover their gifts and, in turn, the very essence of God's love? "Do you remember the story of the loaves and fishes?" Eliza's voice, steady and compelling, broke through the reverie. A small offering was all it took for the miraculous to happen. What if our small acts of love and faith can multiply as well? The thought settled in a few hearts, heavy yet hopeful. The idea of sharing what little they had seemed daunting but tantalizing. Their burdens suddenly seemed lighter when thought of, not as solitary loads but as stones in a river. Together, they could create a pathway of blessings. Agnes felt the Spirit moving among them. "It's true. Every ounce of our offerings, whether tangible or intangible, is a seed planted in faith," she added, her voice rising with newfound fervor. "We do not have to wait for the grand moment of glory. We can start with our whispers of faith, the tiny steps inch by inch, together." A low buzz of conversations erupted, as people began to share their insights and thoughts. Ideas blossomed in the sacred space they had created. A woman spoke of her passion for knitting blankets for the homeless. A young man offered to use his musical talent to uplift those who were struggling. Each testimony was a thread in a tapestry, woven together with purpose, hope, and shared commitment. Imagine, Sarah thought, if we very genuinely embraced our gifts, what miraculous thing might God unfold? This question struck her heart deeply, igniting a fire within. In that moment of collective realization, it no longer mattered how insufficient their offering seemed. It was about the willingness to share and to stand together in faith. As the lanterns flickered to life, illuminating the faces around her, Sarah saw the glow of connection and possibility. It was a visual reminder of the divine light they each carried, waiting to be shared. The night seemed to pulse like an echo of their shared longing. What great wonders awaited them? Then, just as the heartbeat of their gathering reached a crescendo, a hush fell over them. The wind shifted, swirling gently as if to call for their attention. In the stillness, Agnes raised her hands, inviting each spirit to look inward. "Let us take a moment," she suggested, "to listen to what God may be placing on our hearts. What divine treasure lies hidden within us, waiting to be uncovered?" There was an expectant pause, a moment of sacred silence. Sarah closed her eyes, breathing deeply, as she searched within for God's message. In that hush, she understood it was not just about the journey ahead, but about the intimacy of the present moment and the blessings interwoven in each heartbeat. Though uncertainty danced on the edges of their peace, the question lingered: what gifts would they discover tonight? And how might they step into the unfolding adventure before them? Would they make room for the miraculous? Would they embrace the challenge unfurling ahead? The night held its breath, waiting for them to take their next step into the unknown. The dawn broke over the village, golden rays spilling through the trees, illuminating the tender whispers of faith that had filled the hearts of Sarah and her community. Each face that gathered at the celebration now bore the marks of transformation. Eyes shone with purpose, hearts pulsed with love. Sarah felt the energy of the morning envelop her. A divine promise hung in the air, heavy with potential. As the sun brightened, so did the hopes swirling around them. "Today is the day," Sarah declared, her voice steady as she gathered everyone together. "Today, we will dive into our gifts. We will give freely and love fiercely." The crowd murmured in agreement, their hearts beating as one, an orchestra of faith shaping their mission. Hand in hand, they formed a circle, a living tapestry of support woven together by every life story shared. Agnes stood at the center, an embodiment of the wisdom gained through trials. "Let us start small," she advised tenderly. "Let us think of one way to share our gifts during this day. The smallest act can hold the greatest impact." The community nodded, excitement bubbling in the air. One by one, Sarah saw people step forward with ideas, each one a flicker of brilliance. One neighbor, a gardener, planned to share his vegetables with families in need. Another, a teacher, offered free lessons for children, igniting minds with the gift of knowledge. As these moments blossomed, gratitude filled the space, and the ripple of love surged, filling every heart. In the midst of this unyielding joy, Sarah felt a profound stirring within her. She remembered the struggles she faced, the doubts that had threatened her spirit, but now, they transformed into stepping stones. "Lord, let my journey be my testimony," she whispered, feeling the weight lift, replaced by a divine light. But as the villagers shared their dreams, a shadow flickered in the background. Fear still lingered, but it no longer had power. "Trust, not fear," Agnes reminded them, her eyes dancing with faith. "Each challenge shapes us, but we must walk through them together, encouraged by the love of God and each other." With that reminder, Sarah turned to those around her, ready to take the next tangible step. "Let us take our gifts and meet the community where they are. This is our moment. Together, we'll create something beautiful to reflect God's love." And with that, a speed of action ignited among them. With one voice, they scattered through the village, spreading offerings of kindness. Banners of hope streamed as they shared food, laughter, stories, and love. Together, they became an unstoppable force, a living prayer unfolding across the land, their boundless gifting sparking miracles as they went. As twilight began to curtain the village, they gathered again, this time in a humble park lit by stars. Exhausted but fulfilled, every participant wore joy like a crown, each soul glowing from the love they expressed. Sarah looked around, her heart swelling. Today, she began, was more than just an act of giving. We discovered that love truly multiplies when we share it. Each step we took brought us closer to one another, and to God. A chorus of amens erupted, mingling with laughter beneath the shimmering night sky. Yet amidst the jubilation, Agnes spoke once more, a warm light in all her words. "Tonight, we must also remember the very essence that fueled our journey, the act of loving unfailingly. Keep those words close as we move forward. The air around them brimmed with divine energy as they embraced, laughter mingling with prayers, a holy mix that wouldn't easily fade. Days turned into weeks, and that gathering became a cornerstone for the village. Like a well-tended flower garden, love continued to bloom. No longer just a collection of souls but a unified family, they held each other up through every storm. They remembered that the true measure of wealth wasn't in possessions but the bonds they forged through shared faith, and in that village, beneath the rolling hills and ancient oak trees, they lived out the secrets of manifestation every day, finding abundance in service, joy in love, and strength in community. Each member understood that they were exceptional vessels of God's grace, shaping the lives of others through their gifts. As Sarah reflected, tears of joy streaming down her cheeks, she realized, this is only the beginning. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Help us grow our community of believers by leaving a like now. Your engagement feeds the algorithm and spreads these truths far and wide. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending below. Share how faith has transformed you. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Together, we are vessels of light.